Everything you've lived and will live, every unexpected encounter, every pain that once felt unfair, every joy and every seemingly inexplicable victory was never chance, luck, or misfortune. If you're a chosen one, then know this: you were the one who designed this path down to its finest detail. There are truths that can only be heard by those who are ready to take a leap in consciousness. That's why this video certainly didn't find you by accident. Even before you took your first breath in this world, you had already accepted every challenge. It was all part of a much greater plan, written with awareness, courage, and purpose. And now, the time has come for you to remember and understand everything you chose to forget. Most souls incarnate out of necessity, not choice, a truly compulsory process. They are guided by universal forces that operate through balance, compensation, and cyclical learning. But the chosen ones follow a different path, rarer, bolder, and higher. They descend into this plane with a clear mission and a deep calling within their hearts. This knowledge echoes from ancient wisdom preserved in sacred texts like the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Emerald Tablets, and interpretations from esoteric and occult sects throughout centuries of Hermeticism. More specifically, the law of correspondence, as above, so below, which means it is all within you. In this video, I will reveal the 7 stages that preceded your incarnation, and the last 3 stages are the most important to understand your entire soul's mission. So stay with me until the end if you're ready to take a true leap in consciousness with a single video. If this resonates with you, comment now. I always felt it was all part of a greater plan. Now let's walk through each of the stages. The first stage of the soul is the calling from the all to shift the mission. Between one incarnation and another, there is always an interval, a span of time that cannot be measured by human clocks. In that interval, you don't have a physical body, but you are more alive than ever, in essence, consciousness, and energy. You remain active in subtle dimensions, learning, serving, and restoring the fragments scattered by the material plane, always working with deep joy. There is no such thing as eternal rest, and it is in that state that, at some point, you feel a subtle vibration crossing your field. Something different, something calling you. That is the calling from the all to shift your mission. It isn't a sound or an image. It is a silent echo that travels through the planes of being. It doesn't reach the masses, nor the souls still trapped in the unconscious cycle of reincarnation. This signal reaches only those who have already raised their frequency beyond ego identity. Souls who have completed earlier stages of evolution and still keep the thread of remembrance alive. When that calling comes, it isn't confusing. It is instant recognition. You don't understand it with your mind. You just know. It is the first sign that your mission in the subtle planes has, for now, been completed, and that a new mission, now back in our dimension, is being activated. You are not forced. The calling is an invitation, firm, loving, and undeniable. It arises after a period of service in the invisible realms, where you act on behalf of the all, expanding the awareness of the emanations that are still awakening. You always carry a sense of duty and the certainty that it isn't over. Ordinary souls don't hear this calling, or if they do, they confuse it with noise. Chosen ones don't. They feel it in the center of their being. They hear it. And more than that, they respond, because they know that their next incarnation will be neither random nor harmful to them. As soon as the calling is accepted, the soul of the chosen one begins preparing to revisit its own legacy. And that marks the second stage of the process, It's time for the review of past lives. A deep dive begins, where time dissolves, and every past incarnation reveals itself as a living sequence of experiences. You don't watch it like a spectator, you feel it. That's because in higher realms, communication doesn't happen through words as we're used to in this dimension. It is more like emotion. It is knowing in essence. You feel every gesture, every word, every choice. If at some point you hurt someone, you will feel that pain. If you healed, inspired, or uplifted others, you will feel that light expanding within you too. There is no courtroom, no condemnation. What exists is pure awareness. You directly access the energetic impact of your actions. And this is where true spiritual responsibility is born. The realization that everything you've done carries a vibration. And that vibration continues to echo through the universe. This stage reveals your real cosmic accounting. No lies, no defense mechanisms. It's like cosmic mathematics. What some traditions call karma, without judgment, only reflection. You clearly see where you've created credits and where unresolved debts still remain. Most souls go through this process in an automated way, as part of a mechanical cycle of learning. But the chosen ones go through this review with expanded consciousness. They don't just observe, they understand. They extract wisdom, recognize repeating patterns, and realize that it's not enough to simply know. Transformation is required, and that transformation begins by accepting the shadows that still need light. Forgiveness is no longer theoretical. It becomes vibrational action. This review is not just a mirror, it's a compass. Full awareness of your cosmic accounting points to what still needs to be integrated. It shows which wounds must be healed, which virtues need to be strengthened, and what kind of mission is being prepared for the next cycle. You begin to see how everything served to shape your consciousness and prepare you for what comes next. The journey continues, and now the soul of the chosen one is led to the conclave with beings of light, a high vibrational space where time doesn't exist and truth reigns supreme. There the soul sits before higher intelligences and archetypes, beings of light who have followed your path for millennia. No presence is new. All are recognized as old friends of your eternal journey. With them, the chosen one reviews the conclusions of the previous stage and begins crafting the architecture of the next mission. What credits can be amplified? Which debts can be wisely resolved? What are the potential creative paths? Every decision is made with full awareness. The chosen one chooses the key encounters, the allies who will empower them, the masters who will teach through love, and even the opposers who will pull them out of their comfort zone and awaken dormant strengths through friction. No element is random. Even pain is agreed upon with benevolent intentions. Everything is programmed with precision to ensure the mission has depth, meaning, and above all, a real opportunity for growth. Nothing is imposed. Everything is agreed upon. In detail, the analysis includes so many variables that it's beyond what the human mind can currently grasp. Genetic lineages, ancestral patterns, vibrational tendencies, unfinished previous plans, collective events. Everything is taken into account. That's why the scriptures say, "Judge not." This is not only advice for how we treat others, it's guidance for how we treat ourselves. To judge based on what we see in the physical realm is to ignore the vast and intricate soul design that was drawn up long before birth. It is in this moment that the core of the mission is defined. Incarnation will not be just a passage. If the plan is lived in full, it becomes a path of illumination and unification with the all. And no matter how complex the journey may seem, everything will lead to that. There is no flaw in the plan, only necessary experiences. And when the Chosen One says yes, they accept to live what they already know deep within, that they are here to transcend and fulfill the highest task of all, to remember who they truly are, even while submerged in the forgetting of a denser dimension. With the mission structure defined in the conclave, the fourth stage is choice of mission. Context. The Chosen One doesn't just accept to reincarnate. They define the exact context in which their structured plan will unfold. While most souls receive an automatic energetic program based on their vibration and karma, the Chosen One actively participates in the composition of the next journey. They choose the mission with clarity, in alignment with the insights from the conclave and with the greater plan. This choice determines the path through which they will repair, amplify, and integrate everything built in past lives toward their unification with the All. This mission may take many forms: freeing consciousness from old patterns, healing ancestral ties, regenerating environments, or even transforming entire systems, whether small or large. The what and the how may vary, but the essence is always the same: to serve the All with fidelity to one's true essence. In this sense, the mission becomes the stage upon which the cosmic accounting will play out, here where new credits are generated and previous debts are balanced. That's why the mission is non-negotiable at the soul level. Without mission, there is no real purpose in incarnation. Unlike what many believe, purpose is not a destination. It is a vibration that pulses in you from your very first breath, and this doesn't violate your free will. You might feel like you've chosen your mission in this life, but in truth, you're only remembering a decision you made back in the subtle planes. Chosen ones don't feel incomplete for no reason. They sense the vibrational calling like an unfulfilled spiritual contract. Ignoring it doesn't just create disconnection, it delays the process of illumination. Only by living missionally do you face the challenges, breakthroughs, and learnings that expand your consciousness and reunite you with the All. This is the true meaning of living in flow with the universe. That's why the calling is so strong, so constant, and at times, so uncomfortable. It isn't an external demand, but an internal reminder of what you yourself chose to experience. And the more you try to silence it, the deeper the emptiness becomes. Choosing the mission is choosing to be grounded and spiritually alive. And recognizing this is the first step toward illumination. If you've always felt called to a mission and to deeply connect with the divine, comment, "I say yes to my illumination process." With all these definitions in place, we now enter the fifth stage, where the Chosen One makes the choice of archetypal context and family lineage. Here, the Chosen One dives into one of the most sophisticated and crucial decisions of the entire journey: the choice of their physical form, their archetypes, personal myths, and the family lineage in which they will be anchored during this life. Nothing is random. The analysis involves genetic patterns, epigenetic fields, biological predispositions, and even the social, economic, and historical background in which the mission will unfold. Archetypes and personal mythologies are hand-picked. The soul chooses which storylines it will tend to live out: strength, sensitivity, rebellion, transcendence, among many others. The body, with all its nuances, is one of the primary instruments of the mission. Height, health, skin color, physical or mental predispositions, everything is selected with precision to empower the planned experience. Even limitations become tools for expansion. The body is not a passive shell. It is a living archetypal code that sends messages, activates experiences, and shapes how the world will respond to the Chosen One. It is the living language of the soul. That's why some dedicate entire studies to understanding how genetic traits influence our personality energetically. And as for family, it was never a burden, even if it may seem that way for some. It is an energetic system of spiritual training, a mirror and a trigger. Through it, patterns that must be healed are repeated, cycles that have lasted for generations are broken, and the most difficult love of all is learned. Unconditional love, the reasons that connected you to the people in your family, are directly tied to the cosmic accounting we discussed earlier. Everything that feels like delay, discomfort, or challenge within that nucleus is, in truth, a catalyst for illumination. The Chosen One understands that their lineage is the first portal to be consciously crossed. After choosing the body, the archetypes, and the lineage, the Chosen One prepares for the most delicate moment of spiritual preparation. It's time for the release of memories into the Akashic field. The 6th stage is forgetting. But here's something important. This forgetting is voluntary. It is not a punishment, nor is it a failure. It's part of the initiation. It's what makes incarnation a feasible experience. It's what frees you from the weight of all that came before, so you can expand in this new opportunity. Remembering everything would make the process much harder, if not impossible. Forgetting is the final act of courage from a conscious soul. And if you think these concepts are purely spiritual, the truth is, science has already begun to arrive at conclusions about how this entire system functions. Memories are not erased. They are released into what's called the Akashic field, a universal field of information that records every experience, thought, and emotion of every being. This concept was brought forth by Hungarian-American physicist Ervin Laszlo, who described the universe as structured by an informational ether that permeates all that exists. That's where your experiences are stored, intact and fully connected to you. They're simply not accessible to your immediate rational mind. Some souls, however, plan for partial access to these memories, not to feed the ego, but as reminders and strategic tools throughout the mission. These flashes can appear as intense intuitions, vivid dreams, revelations during therapeutic practices like theta healing and others, déjà vu, or perceptions that seem to come out of nowhere. They are permitted glimpses through the veil, carefully authorized, so the Chosen One doesn't get lost in delusions, pain, or judgment, but instead moves forward with clarity. Accessing the past is only useful if it empowers your consciousness in the present. That's why certain events in your life carry a sense of recognition, something already known. People you feel an instant connection with, places you visit for the first time yet feel strangely familiar, specific words or contexts. All of these are traces of spiritual memory that still pulses within you. And yes, everything you've lived in previous lives was taken into account when defining your current mission. You may have forgotten, but your informational field has not, and it keeps guiding you, even in silence. That's why meditative practices are so powerful for the Chosen Ones. They allow you to create energetic bridges between the rational, the unconscious, and the data stored in the Akashic field. The 7th and final stage demands from the soul the greatest act of faith and surrender to the purpose of the all. Vibrational descent for incarnation. Lowering your frequency and diving into the densest planes of material existence is not an easy process for the soul. The Chosen One doesn't just descend. They contract their vibration, move through dimensional layers, and take on the limitations of the 3rd dimension with full awareness of what they are doing. They know they will forget. They know they will feel pain. They know they will have to remember, once again, without external proof. And even so, they say yes, because only this way can the mission truly be lived. It is a kind of sacrifice, one made possible only through the love of the All. Birth, as it's known here, is not a beginning. It's an activation. It is the moment when everything that was planned starts unfolding in linear time. As the eyes open for the first time, the soul enters a fragile, vulnerable, and dependent body. Yet the vastness remains hidden there, silently. In the early years of life, the connection with the subtle planes is still strong. Dreams, invisible presences, symbolic memories, all of it still lingers. The plan is already in motion, and it is here that the most sacred game of all begins, remembering who you truly are in the midst of material chaos and the free will of other beings. The world will not remind you. The system will try to mold you to the Matrix's pattern, distracting and scattering your attention. And the challenges will be intense. But every challenge is connected to a choice you made before descending. And each time you align with your mission, something inside you lights up. It's not just about living, it's about living missionally. The awareness that there are no surprises and no coincidences transforms what many call fate into something far greater, a sacred gift. This is the most powerful revelation you, chosen one, can take from this video. To understand that everything was orchestrated with perfection so your mission could unfold. That every pain, every victory, and every silence were steps carefully placed on your ladder to illumination. It's at this point that true power awakens. It's not about understanding every choice in detail, or judging the paths that appeared, or will appear. It's about remembering deeply that nothing is punishment, condemnation, coincidence, luck, or misfortune. The process of incarnation, with all its veils and challenges, is a rare gift, and the chosen ones await it with reverence and anticipation long before they arrive. To be here in this exact moment is considered a spiritual honor and privilege. You are meant to cherish every second with full awareness, because now you know the mission is active and the calling has been heard. If you feel that your soul leapt into this life with deep faith, comment, "I accepted the leap. I am a chosen one." I'll use my intuitive power to choose the next themed video you need to see after these revelations, and I'll reply with a unique link just for you. This one, I believe, will truly resonate with where you are on your journey right now. And remember, you are not here to find a purpose. You are the purpose, experiencing itself. Thank you for watching. Until the end, I hope to see you in the next video. A life of infinite possibilities awaits you.